and COO of Technium, Jonathan Van.
Thank you. Tell me when. Hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out. Like you said, Jonathan Van, co-founder and COO of Technium, Dallas, born and raised, and we built a platform for entrepreneurs to discover, validate, and launch deep technologies. So the first question is, what's a deep technology to us? For us, that means heavy R&D, engineering. Typically, we worked with universities, some corporate Fortune 500s. But really, the goal was, how do we make this dead simple for entrepreneurs to get engaged? And so 70% of the licenses you see or the patents that come out never get licensed. That's $65 billion just annually spent on R&D alone. That's at universities, about $300 billion a year in corporations. And so that really trickles down to, how do you get these hands? Like, you might hear about, the viral video of this killer drug in India or somewhere else, but how does that actually affect us? How do you get these in the hands? And so what we found was, you have to answer these 3 core questions to get them in the hands of the right entrepreneurs, to make it easy and get them to a point where you can actually benefit from these technologies. So how do you find the best technologies? You can Google the crap out of them for 6 months, 12 months, whatever. How valuable is this thing, that piece of paper that I may or may not understand? Who else do I need to work with on this? And then, how the hell do I negotiate this deal and get it done? And we've worked with everyone from first-time entrepreneurs to people who have sold their company twice, and they just want to blow their brains out in this process. And so we started this company, my co-founder and I, Brian Cummings. He was the director of commercialization at the University of Utah. This is a ranking that just came out last week from the Milken Institute, ranking them as #1 in commercialization. So we're really taking all of those processes, programs, analytics, and baking them into our platform so we can make it dead simple. Like, in 2 years, they launched 69 startups with a lot of success, and the goal is, how do we make that accessible to more entrepreneurs across the world, but today, across the United States. We break it down into these 4 steps. Discover. So if you're an entrepreneur, you say, I'm interested in opioid addiction. I have a family member who's addicted to painkillers. It's something I'm passionate about. I can Google the crap out of this. I can read papers. But instead, how do I have this get to a point where the answers come to me? And that's our job. We use a mix of analytics. So we use some patent analysis, and we have a group of 500,000 experts that help us go from this giant list of patents and blah, 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 and gobbledygook into a list that says, I have 3 patents, 3 places from Johns Hopkins to Scripps saying, I need to license this. And then because of our experience, we've baked in standard terms. We can get it done in around 100 days, which is where a lot of the entrepreneurs care about. And then launching the startup. That's really what the goal. And so what you'll see on our website today is something like this. This is our open challenges. About 5% of what you see on our website is public, because the space is pretty private. But the goal is, I put out something into the world. I'm interested in technologies for homeland security. I might have a prize of 100, 150,000, not too different than some of the applications you see in the accelerators. And we have our group of scouts, about 500,000 in total now, saying, here's what I see, here's what I need to upvote. And you get this, what you end up with as an entrepreneur or an organization is this curated list of technologies you should be paying attention to. And this is like the slide from hell, but this is where the validation comes in. This boils down like your MBA into 1 page. Problem, potential, and we've launched several companies, and you can go bigideacanvas.com, it's a different thing, I see taking the picture. We've had companies raise almost 100% raise follow-on capital if they actually follow this model. So that's this is the qualitative side where you're answering market, whatever. The question is now, is this patent valuable? And so we use some of our analytics. This is one for like a fuel cell technology. Obviously GM's one of the hottest ones, Honda. But your real question is, who else on the left side should I be working with? Should I approach JSR Corp? Who the hell is that? You wouldn't know if you just Googled that. Molecular Imprints, Polyfuel Incorporated. Those are the companies that come up in our analytics and our competitive landscape analysis that we help the entrepreneurs with. And that's part of the curation. So once you're curated the technologies, then it's who do you partner with to get this launched? And so you can see this is like a really stack-ranked version of here are the top companies, here's the analytics, here's the IP in the space. Sometimes you can go.
Well done. Questions?
Thank you. So you're here tonight to pitch. What is it that is your ask? What are you looking for right now to grow?
I would say the biggest bottleneck we have today is finding qualified CEOs, or I would say even interim CEOs, because we have, I would say 6 months ago this wasn't a problem, but now we have too much qualified IP that's saying, I need someone to take it to the next level. And so that's our bottleneck, and we've solved it through different ways. Like some of our expert network that helps us curate also ends up being interim management, and even ongoing management. But that's definitely the biggest thing is if you have friends that have industry experience, maybe they're senior VP and they're just like, it's time to jump to the next thing, prepackaged, baby. So yes, this is super niche, just say I know that, but that's definitely our biggest bottleneck.
Answered? Hi, my name is Andre. Local entrepreneur, have a couple of patents, third one is pending. I have approached big companies, and who you approach is basically middle, higher level managers who frankly had, afraid to get fired for talking to small companies and their IP.
For talking to small companies.
Just for talking.
That's new.
No, it's not. It's actually, I approached to Microsoft. Eric Chun in University of Aston is actually better house Microsoft manager, and basically he was said, I don't want to look at your patent.
Yeah, they may
Because
not
I don't want to
look
get
at your
fired.
patent.
How do
Yeah.
you solve that?
Yeah, so a lot of times when we're working with BD people, general counsel, you have to have a non-confidential summary that you're ready to share. Just so they don't want to talk to you. No, worry. It's super frustrating. No, that's exactly it. You okay? All right. Okay. Yeah, no, I appreciate the patience. No, sometimes it also comes down to, and this is where our referral network comes in, where sometimes it's who's approaching them just as much as anything, right? So like today, we just emailed the CFO of Tesla, and he responded in 30 minutes, right? So those are, it still comes down to who's reaching out to them and what they're telling them. So it's hard to go cold. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'd love to.
I got
3 granted patents. That's cool.
I got a question over here. My name is Blake High. How do you go out and acquire? Who's your ideal customer who you go after?
So 6 months ago, I would have told you it was all serial entrepreneurs. So we were doing just like, you could almost think about it like a search, but for IP in this case. What we found over the past 6 months is there's a good chunk of people who have like portfolios of 200 patents that say, I want to spin out companies with all this stuff. What do I do with it? Those have been the people that we've gone after. And like I said, one of our biggest bottlenecks is finding CEOs. So we're still always doing that type of search. But we are finding more and more institutions like universities. We work with UNLV, Utah, and some corporations to spin out more companies. Ooh, probably 50. We have too many. That's a good problem, but we're building out our infrastructure. And like I said, the biggest challenge is finding, and our value prop to a lot of the IP owners as well is, we're doing the curation on that side too. You hear someone you should trust. And that's why a lot of it has been people who are serial entrepreneurs, someone who's fundraised, done the whole gambit, and I know that's a super slim population. But that is like the best prototypical thing, and that's why like some of these startups have all been started by people who have experience on both sides of the table. And and I talked about that 100-day goal. That's how we get there. That's a big part of how you get there, right? Who you are lends itself to getting the right deal in a lot of cases.
Any more questions? All right. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.